maintain sustainable industries, keep jobs here, bring people here to be innovative and actually to create new jobs. So we'll return in a minute.
I don't believe that this government gets the importance of research and development, not just commercial research and development, but basic research and development, because, Mr. Speaker, it is basic research and development that way back put Canada in the driving seat in creating insulin, in finding a cure, a treatment for diabetes with Banting and Best, and we have followed through with, more recently, people like the Nobel Prize winner at UBC, Michael Smith, who actually found ways of creating new insulin substitutes using basic chemical science. And it was Michael Smith that came to our government, the Liberal government, in 1992 when we were sitting around wondering why all of the great brains were leaving. We talked about the great brain drain. Everyone was concerned. People were going to the United States. They were going to Japan. They were going to Europe. They were going everywhere but staying here. We were losing some of our finest minds, and we sat and decided together with people like Michael Smith that we were going to invest in research and development, not only commercial research and development, but basic research and development in the niche areas where we felt that we already had established ourselves as leaders in the world. And in fact, at that time, Mr. Speaker, we were number 6 in the G7 countries in terms of government spending on research and development. By the time we started the spending in 1997, by 2003, Canada was number 1 in the G7 in research and development. So what you need is a vision to understand that we're talking about the sustainable jobs for tomorrow.
You know, investing in research and development is not just about the government pouring tons of money into this. I know that what technology partnerships used to do was to partner with a university who was doing some of the basic research, then partner with a commercial company that was going to take that research and turn it into something that we could sell and that could become an industry for us. I know that some of these companies are having a difficult time. Mm-hmm. You've been across the country. What are you hearing?
Well, in fact, I've just come from a week of touring the country, and you're quite right. Some of these small companies that have great ideas that take a few years to develop until they start making money, they need to have some help to develop their technology. And the federal government has a role here.
Yes.
By providing investment tax credits that give them some funding that allows them to develop that technology. This is in small companies with promising ideas. At the moment, there are challenges in this recession, and the federal government needs to step up to the plate. We need to do things such as improving the conditions for investing in venture capital. Venture capital often funds these small companies,
yes,
and that money is drying up at the moment. So we need to change that, and the federal government has a role to do here.
And we know that actually by funding small and medium-sized businesses, that's where 80% of the jobs in this country come from. So when we talk about research and development, it's not some sort of esoteric thing in which we come up with wondrous ideas and nothing comes of it. This translates into not only jobs, but in sustainable jobs for tomorrow. And you know, I remember clearly that Michael Ignatieff said earlier on when we supported the budget, he said, look, we're supporting this, we're putting you on probation, because we want to see that what you do is you bridge and sort of hold quickly for temporary time the jobs that are being lost currently. But we want to look at you developing these long-term sustainable jobs.
Well, that's exactly it, Hedy. There are jobs that are being lost at the moment, but we must also in parallel be investing in the jobs of the future. Another area is providing investment tax credits to these companies. In talking to them, they've told me that they appreciate getting this money, but it's a very cumbersome process. We need to streamline it. The Vice President of the BDC, which is the Development Bank of Canada,
yes,
we interviewed her the other day, and she said that we're at risk of losing a decade's worth of research in these small companies unless we keep providing them with funding. And at the moment, that's not a priority with this government, and that concerns me.
Well, I remember the Canadian Foundation for Innovation, which is a model for the rest of the world on how government and universities and the private sector and industry can work together for the benefit of Canadians and for Canada. I mean, if you think about it, we are a country that has depended a lot on oil and gas. We've depended a lot on forests. We've depended a lot on fisheries. I mean, we've depended on our natural resources. And I met with the forestry industry about 2 weeks ago, and they're saying we need to have investments in innovation so that the forestry industry isn't going to function the way it used to. But at the same time, you have this 55-year-old man who, ever since he was 14, was working in the mills. Now he can be retrained in the new way of building a forestry industry. And the same with fisheries. You know, as fish stocks are being depleted around the world, as we look at oceans being damaged around the world because of environmental change, you know, Canada could lead the world in looking at a new way of creating fisheries and sustaining an ocean's habitat that is there for generations to come.
Absolutely. And there are examples where in traditional industries, I'll use mining for example, they have gone high tech.
Yes.
And that is the way we have to go. Forestry is trying very hard because they know in this very depressed market that the secret of the future lies in research and development. And they're all telling us the same thing.
And they're not getting the money.
They're not getting the funding.
No,
that's the problem.
Thank you so much, Mark. It was a pleasure having you here. We've got to have you again because this is an exciting topic. It is Canada's tomorrow. It is your jobs for tomorrow. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a PhD to be able to work in technology industries at all. Everyone can be trained, and that's where we need to go. Link the human capital, the research and innovation, and Canada is going to continue to be the little country that could.
Absolutely.
Nice talking to you.
Well said.
Okay. Great being with you again, and as you see, you have been seeing snippets of my speech that I made in the House on science and technology and on research and development. The time has come for us to become a competitive nation. I think we know how to do it. You know how to do it. Let's just do it.